project was because as students, I believe we have a voice, and this voice has the capability of creating a change, whether it be within or outside of our schools and our learning environments. But you see, the problem is sometimes this voice lacks confidence, is soft, is undermined, and just simply not heard, which is a problem I hope to contribute to solving through the creation of my personal project. So again, I present to you your voice. So your voice is a safe, systematic, and free platform for students to be able to comfortably express themselves. With my project, I hope to contribute to solving a problem of a lack of communication between students and their learning environments. That way, communication flows and is more comfortable within our school and learning environments. So my inspiration for this project were actually quite a few things, but I'll only share two. The first one was an English novel that I read last year called So Long a Letter by MYP. And in the novel, MYP uses a character, Ramatulay, to show how, as a female, her voice in her society was underlooked and just not acknowledged. But through the story, you see how MYP was able to rise above the standards in her society. And I wanted to portray that in my project to show students and encourage them that their voice matters and they can also do this as well. So, I also had a current motto throughout our school that was, if you see something, say something, and I wanted to make that more practical throughout my project. So my learning goal for this project was to discover easy ways for students to be able to communicate and feel comfortable expressing themselves. And my other learning goal was to become more knowledgeable in using technology in a positive manner to create change. Okay, so the global context that I used was personal and cultural expression, and this is because I wanted students to be able to express themselves and see that expressing themselves in the right way can create a change. Okay, so through this personal project, I was able to become an IB learner, or more practically, that is. And that is because I had to be a risk taker, I had to be open-minded. There were different ways of portraying my project, but through advice and from my supervisors and peers, I was able to pick the best one for my project. Then I was an inquirer, a communicator, as well as knowledgeable and a thinker. Okay, so some of the success criteria that I went through to keep myself accountable whilst creating this personal project was that one, I wanted my website to be easy to navigate. Number two, my website should have an easy and simple layout for people like myself who aren't so tech savvy to be able to efficiently and effectively use my project. And the last one was that, does my project serve its purpose? Can students feel comfortable and free expressing themselves with my project? And some of my specifications, let me go to my ATL skills. My ATL skills that I acquired through this personal project was communication skills and management skills. I had to use management skills when finding out what time to complete my project, when to work on my project, when to go and see supervisors, and things of the such. Next, my communication skills. I had to learn how to communicate to my supervisors and friends so that they could all have a broad picture of what I wanted my project to look like so that I could also get feedback. And that was just a little bit about my personal project, Your Voice. Thank you.
My name is Amani, and my personal project is about cerebral palsy. As well as create an online service so people can donate to help these children get the necessary help they need, and it will also serve as an awareness program. this program was that my little sister born shortly after me was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. And through management techniques such as therapy sessions, she's been able to have a better quality of life. This motivated and inspired me to also help other people with cerebral palsy have a better standard of living. My learning goal for this project was to learn about the causes of cerebral palsy, the types of cerebral palsy, and the ways that people who have cerebral palsy can be treated so they can also have a better standard of living. So as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to create a website, and I created a success criteria to enable me to reach all my goals. My first success criteria was that my website should have good vocabulary and terminologies used appropriately. My second success criteria was that I want my fonts to be eligible and clear. My third success criteria was that I wanted my website main theme to be in green because cerebral palsy is represented around the world in green. And my last success criteria was that I wanted it to have an impact on my targeted audience, which is the people in Ghana. My global context is identity and relationship. I chose this global context because cerebral palsy is based on physical health, and this falls under this global context. The ATL skills I used to achieve my goal was first research skills. I had to go online and do a lot of research about what cerebral palsy really is, and I also needed to make sure that I get correct information so I don't confuse myself on it. So that's why I applied my research skills. I also applied self-management skills because I have other works apart from personal projects, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to manage my time properly so I'd be able to achieve all my goals. That's how I use self-management. I also use communication and social skills. I needed to communicate with the parents of children with cerebral palsy, so I had to make sure I use my communication and social skills. The learning skills I achieved was first, I was able to become a knowledgeable person. Before doing this project, I had a little bit of understanding what cerebral palsy is because, as I mentioned earlier, my sister was born with cerebral palsy, and I only knew about her type of cerebral palsy. But at the end of this project, I was able to learn about all the different types of cerebral palsy and the causes of it, as well as ways people who have cerebral palsy can manage their situation. I also developed as a risk taker because I'm honestly a very introverted person, and I have to go out of my way to interview people for my website. So I developed as a risk taker, and finally, I became more of a caring person because prior to this, I really didn't care too much about how other people were living their lives. But when I went out and I saw how bad situations were in Ghana, it made me more caring and empathetic towards these people. Here are some pictures of my creation process. This is me with the parents of these children, cerebral palsy, at tissue. And here's another picture of it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Kwesi Mensa, and today I'll be presenting to you my personal project. My personal project is pretty much to engage the youth with soccer as a form of physical activity and improve their health and well-being. First of all, we're going to be going over my table of context. First of all, we're going to be going over my learning goal, my global context and exploration, and then we're going to go to my product goal, and then my success criteria, following my planning, my application of ATL skills, and my product video, and then my reflection. So first of all, my learning goal. So for my personal project, I pretty much wanted to learn more about soccer as a form of physical activity in order to engage the less fortunate youth in my community identities and relationships. And so identities and relationships is pretty much like what it means to be human, and then also the beliefs and values of a human being. And then for my exploration, it was health and well-being. And so for my product goal, I pretty much wanted to create soccer interactive videos with the youth, but before that, I made an observation in my community. And so I noticed that a lot of children in my community are not able to pretty much engage themselves in physical activity because of COVID, and in a lot of public schools in Ghana, they're not allowed to pretty much engage themselves in physical activities because of the class and like the amount of people that are in different classes. And so pretty much my product goal was to create soccer interactive videos. And so for my success criteria, I'll be going over here and I'll be explaining my success criteria a little bit to you guys. And so for my success criteria, I wanted to pretty much learn more about cardiovascular endurance and also the 12-minute Cooper test. And so cardiovascular endurance is pretty much the ability to run or pretty much jog for a certain period of time. So I wanted to test that using the 12-minute Cooper test. And so for the 12-minute Cooper test, you pretty much have to run around in like a field in 12 minutes, and the amount of laps you get, you have to multiply it by 400, and that number will determine what your fitness level is. So on the bottom left-hand corner, you can see that there's a small table, and it pretty much indicates the fitness levels. So for male, you can see that excellent is pretty much 2,800 meters, and poor is 2,000 meters for male. And then for female, it's 2,200 meters, and for the female, the worst score you can get is 1,400 meters. For my success criteria, I wanted to test my product videos by using a table that I created, which is over here. And so the table pretty much tests the function, the contents, the publication, the accessibility, and also the aesthetics. And so for the 12-minute Cooper test, I was pretty much able to gather every child's age, and then also their name and their gender. And then I was pretty much able to construct a graph and also a table. And you can see that in the pre-test, a lot of the children weren't able to do so well. And you can see that the minimum for the pre-test was 4 laps. And so next we're going to go to my evidence. So these are just some of the pictures that I took with the youth. And you can also see that more pictures over here. So you can see that this is pretty much the interview that I did with the youth. And then this is me just showing some of my drills to them. And then these are just some of the drills that we did. And this is the 12-minute Cooper test. So next is my planning. So for my planning, I was pretty much able to construct a table, and it pretty much had different tasks that I wanted to create in a certain period of time. So you can see that all of them were completed. And so next is my application of ATL skills. And so for my application of ATL skills, I was able to use research, which firstly I was able to use primary and secondary research. And so for my primary research, I was pretty much able to talk with professional coaches and also talk to some of the teachers in the school and also the PE department on soccer and health and well-being. And then for my secondary research, I was able to pretty much watch YouTube videos, read articles, and so on about soccer and health and well-being. And then so next is my self-management, and for my self-management, I was able to pretty much have different meetings with my supervisors, and also I was able to construct different tables which had different things I wanted to complete in a certain period of time. And so next is my collaboration, and so for my collaboration, I was able to collaborate with the youth. And so next, this is just some of the research questions that I had, and then I was also able to pretty much ask some of these questions to the coaches. And so next is the PARS evaluation of sources, which I created so I can evaluate all my sources so they can be credible and to see if I was using, if my resources were reliant and credible. Okay. So these are some of the videos that I did with my, I pretty much created training videos, and these are just some of the videos that I did. And so if we skip ahead, we can see some passing drills that I was able to do. And then next, I did some ball mastery at my house. And then I was also able to pretty much record some of the training videos and drills that I did at school. And then also I did some at my rooftop. Okay, so next is my reflection. So for my personal project, I was able to see that my learning goal was effective, and I was pretty much able to engage the youth in soccer as a form of physical activity. And then next, I was able to use my ATL skills wisely, and I was able to pretty much use them to help me achieve my goals. And then next is my impact of my learner profile, and pretty much I was able to use the learner profile attribute open-mindedness, and I was able to pretty much learn more about the youth and the different communities where they come from. And then next is my post-test results. I was able to see that a lot of the children improved. And so thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Matilda Genfi, and my personal project was on spreading awareness on mental health. For this whole project, my product was creating a website. So let's take you through my goal, my learning goals, the success criteria I had for my project, then the ATO skills I utilized throughout my project, and also the learner profiles I exhibited at the end of the project. So for my goal was to create a website that aids in spreading awareness on mental health. My learning goal was to learn more about mental health and also about the creation of websites. So the reason why I actually chose mental health, there are actually two reasons. So the first one is, in Ghana, mental health is not something that's really prioritized, and we see it everywhere. Like, people don't really understand a lot, they really don't know much about the topic. So I just really wanted to be able to educate people on the topic. And also I do have friends who have experienced some mental issues, but then when they come out, they're not really taken seriously, or they're told they are looking for attention. So that is something that was actually very personal to me, so I just wanted to exhibit that in my projects. So the success criteria for my project, I had 6 success criteria. So the first one was the product should meet the learning goal. The second one was it should serve its intended purpose, which is to educate people on mental health. And also it should have a simple layout. It should have easy navigation, and the website should have legible and easy to read font. And the website should be accessible on different devices, because it's not just one device everyone uses. So that's for the ATL skills, I have thinking skills, and I have the creative thinking and also transfer skills. So for creative thinking, I implemented this when it came to the design of the website. I also had to think of an idea for the project first, and also the design, the features of the websites, I also had to think of that. And then transfer skills. So actually, before this whole project, in design class, we actually learned how to create a website. So I did use some of the skills I learned from that project and transferred it I implemented it in my project. Then self-management, organizational skills. So with this one, there are actually about 2 things I think out of this. So the first one is actually creating a plan to follow for myself. Although I would admit, my self-management throughout this project wasn't the best. I procrastinated a lot, and
But I did I was able to actually manage myself, so I am proud of myself. Because I also like, the feedback I got after the project, I was able to put it on one place and also access myself and be able to work on that. Then the learner profile. We have, I developed as an inquirer, I was a knowledgeable thinker, communicator, open-minded, and reflective. So, and my global context for this was identities and relationships. So for this, why I actually chose the global context was because this global context touches on like mental health, which is basically my project. So that is why that was my global context. So I'm just going to tell you a bit about my website. So the name of my website is Sound Mind, Sound Body, SMSB for short. So what SMSB is a website that provides information on mental health and also resources for those who want to get to know more about the topic, and also maybe those with some disorders that also want to get to know how they can like better themselves, I guess. So the resources on the site like range from like articles on mental health, like other websites that also provide information on mental health and also other resources. And also I did include some contact information of some counselors and therapists in Ghana, just to start with my home country. Yes. So that is my personal project. Thank you.